Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to study last article, which is 1D Graaff generator. This 1D Graaff generator is designed by scientist Robert Jamieson 1D Graaff, and the scientist 1D Graaff designed this generator so as to produce a high voltage. So to produce high voltage about 10 to the power 7 volts. So using this generator, a high voltage of 10 to the power 7 volts can be generated. So this generator is also called as electrostatics generator, and main use of this electrostatic generator to produce a high voltage of the order of 10 to the power 7 volts. And this produced high voltage can be further used to accelerate the charged particles to very high energies, again which is of the order of 10 mega electron volt. So in this 1D Graaff generator, in the construction of 1D Graaff generator, it consists of a heavy platform, and there is a highly polished hollow metal sphere S. So S is the highly polished metal sphere having radius about few meters, and this highly polished hollow sphere is kept at some height above the ground with the help of two insulating pillars S1 and S2. So with the help of two pillars, insulating pillars S1 and S2, a hollow sphere is kept some height above the ground surface. And inside this ground hollow sphere, there are two pulleys P1 and P2. So there are two pulleys P1 and P2 inside this hollow sphere. One is at the bottom, so P1 is at the bottom and pulley P2 is at the center of hollow sphere. And in this case, the pulley P1 is operated by electric motor, which is not shown in this figure. So pulley P1 is rotated with the help of electric motor. And again, on these two pulleys P1 and P2, there is a belt B. So B is a belt which is called as conveyor belt, and this conveyor belt is wound over the two pulleys P1 and P2, and this belt is made from silk, or it is made from rayon. So the belt which wound over the two pulleys is made from silk or rayon. And when the pulley P1, which is rotated with the help of electric motor, when the electric motor is switched on, then the belt B runs over the two pulleys P1 and P2. Again, inside the sphere, there are two combs, metal combs, C1 and C2. So, metal comb C1 is at the bottom near the pulley P1, and metal comb C2 which is near to the pulley P2. So these two metal combs C1 and C2 are near to the belt. One is near to pulley P1 and another is near to the pulley P2, but they are not in contact with the belt. And these two combs, the comb which is near to the pulley number 1 P1 is called as, this comb is called as spray comb. And this comb have metal spikes, that means pointed ends. And because of these pointed ends, large numbers of charges are deposited. As we know that sigma is equal to Q by A, and sigma is equal to Q divided by M is pi r square. So sigma is inversely proportional to r square. That means if the surface having radius very small, then surface charge density is very large, and so C1 and C2, that means these combs are made from pointed metal spikes or in the form of pointed brush-like structures, due to which surface charge density is more. So the comb C1, which is at the bottom, it is connected to a high voltage rectifier, or it is connected to high DC voltage, and this DC voltage is of the order of 10 to the power 4 volt. That means this C1 spray comb is connected to the positive of high DC voltage. And the second comb C2, which is connected to the inner surface of the hollow metal sphere S. Now, in the construction, we have seen a hollow metal sphere which is situated on two metal pillars S1 and S2. Inside the hollow sphere there are two pulleys P1 and P2, one at the bottom and another is at the center, and over these two pulleys a conveyor belt is wound. Pulley P1 is rotated with the electric motor, and therefore if the electric motor is switched on, then the belt runs over the two pulleys. And again, at the bottom there is a spray comb C1, and at the center near to the pulley P2 there is a collector comb. C1 is connected to the positive high voltage and C2 is connected to the inner surface of this hollow sphere. And this 1D Graaff generator is based on the two principles. So, first principle is corona discharge. The 1D Graaff generator is based on number 1, two principles. One is corona discharge. That means this corona discharge is nothing but, so it is the discharge action of sharp points, and due to this discharge action of sharp points and electric wind of the charges is produced. That means air gets electrified, and in this 1D Graaff generator the corona discharge takes place two times. One is at the spray comb, and second time the corona discharge takes place at the collector comb. And in this process called corona discharge, that means discharge action of sharp points on C1 and C2, the air between the belt and the comb gets electrified and forms positive and negative ions. So this is the one of the principle on which this 1D Graaff generator is based. And second one is, this 1D Graaff generator is based on, suppose this is the inner part of the sphere, and to this inner part of the sphere, if the charges are given by some means, inner surface is given a charge, then these charges are transferred to the outer surface, and when these charges given to the inner surface of the sphere are transferred to the outer surface, then the potential of this outer surface V goes on step by steps increasing. So potential of the outer surface goes on increasing. So in this 1D Graaff generator, if the inner surface of this highly polished metallic sphere, yes, is given some charges, and these charges are immediately transferred to the outer surface of this hollow metallic sphere, and hence the potential of this hollow metallic sphere goes on increasing. But it also have some limits. So, in the working of 1D Graaff generator, which is based on these two principles, one is corona discharge, that means air near the belt and the sharp points C1 and C2 or comb C1 and C2 gets electrified. And second principle is, if the charge are given to the inner surface of the sphere, then these charges are immediately transferred to the outer sphere, and therefore the voltage of outer surface goes on increasing. Then the working of 1D Graaff generator. So to study the working of 1D Graaff generator, again we stick to the two principles. That means one is corona discharge, and number two is when charge is given to the inner sphere, then they are immediately transferred to the outer sphere. So working of 1D Graaff generator. And in the working of 1D Graaff generator, initially the motor is switched on, and if the motor is switched on, the pulley P1 is rotated therefore P2 also rotated, and hence the belt B rolls over P1 and P2. So the pulley P1 is rotated with the help of electric motor. When the electric motor is switched on, the P1 rotated, therefore P2 rotated, and hence the belt runs over the pulleys P1 and P2. And at the same time, we have to switch on power supply, switch on DC supply, which is of the order of 10 to the power 4 volt. So when the belt is running over the two pulleys P1 and P2, and the COM C1 is given a high positive voltage of the order of 10 to the power 4 volt, then in this case a corona discharge takes place near the COM C1. That means the air which is present between this COM C1 and the belt B gets electrified, and due to this positive and negative ions are created, and as the COM is connected to the high positive voltage, the positive charges are spread over the belt. So positive charges are spread over the belt and they stick to the belt. And the negative charges which are repelled and they goes to the ground, or some of them cancel out the positive charges present on COM C1, but as C1 is connected to the high DC voltage, it continuously providing the positive charges. So corona discharge takes place, and due to which COM C1 spreads the positive charges on the belt, and these positive charges are stick on the belt B, and as the belt is running over the two pulleys P1 and P2, these positive charges move in upward direction, and when they reaches at the center of this sphere, again here corona discharge takes place. That means again the air between the COM C2 and this belt gets electrified, and in this case positive charges are deposited on the COM C2, and the negative charges which neutralize the charges which are present on the belt. So due to second corona discharge at C2, positive charges are given to the COM C2. That means it collects the positive charges, and the negative charges which are produced due to electric wind of negative charges, that or the air which is electrified, they neutralize the effect of positive charges on the belt. As the charges are given to C2 are positive, these positive charges, as the COM C2 is connected to the hollow sphere, these positive charges are immediately transferred on the outer surface of this metal sphere or dome. And as the belt is running continuously over the pulleys P1 and P2, the process of taking positive charges from P1 to P2 goes continuously repeated again and again, and hence a large number of positive charges are gathered or accumulate on the hollow metallic sphere S, and due to which its potential goes on increasing. And the use of this 1D Graaff generator is to produce high voltage is possible in this way. But if these charges produces high voltage in the surrounding medium, suppose the medium surrounding this hollow sphere, outer surface of hollow sphere is air, again it get ionized, because the electric field produced in the outer surface of this hollow sphere is go on increasing if we deposited large number of charges on its outer surface, but the electric field for air has value 10 to the 3 into 10 to the power 6 volt per meter. If large number of charges are deposited on this hollow sphere, then its potential increases step by step, but a stage is reached. Then the positive charge leaks into the air and it produces a spark. That means leakage of charge takes place if the value of voltage produced, which is greater than the value, say 10 to the power 6 volt. And to avoid this leakage of charge in the surrounding medium, this whole assembly, which consists of leads COM C1 and C2, is enclosed in another steel chamber which is C. And this steel chamber is filled with gas N2 at high pressure or ferron at high pressure. And due to this evacuated chamber, which is filled with the gas N2 or ferron at high pressure, the leakage is avoided, that means sparking is avoided. So this is all about the working of 1D Graaff generator. And the voltage produced on the outer surface of this hollow sphere is used for accelerating the charged particles such as electrons, protons, deuterons, alpha particles, etc. So here is a discharge tube. This is the discharge tube T, and this discharge tube has a iron source I, and now if this discharge tube is connected to the hollow sphere, then the voltage which is acquired by the hollow sphere is supplied to this discharge tube, and inside discharge tube there is iron source. So if the iron source is of alpha particles, then these positive charge particles acquire high energy and they strike this target which is connected to the negative potential. So if in the board examination, if the question is asked on 1D Graaff generator. That means if you are asked, state the principle, its construction, its working, and applications of 1D Graaff generator, then first of all you have to draw the diagram, then label the diagram, then state the two principles, corona discharge, and if the inner surface is given the charge, then it is transferred to the outer surface immediately, and due to which potential acquired by the outer surface goes on increasing, and then construction in working, and finally applications of this 1D Graaff generator. So we have already seen that this 1D Graaff generator is used to produce high voltage. So this produces high voltage. And this high voltage is now further used to accelerate. High voltage produced by the 1D Graaff generator is used to accelerate charged particles with high energies of the order of 10 mega electron volt. So here question arises, as we have discussed, the 1D Graaff generator which produces high positive potential on the outer surface of the hollow sphere which is polished. So the similar 1D Graaff generator can be constructed which produces high negative voltage on the outer surface of the hollow sphere. So 1D Graaff generators may be of two types, which number one, which produces high positive voltage, and number two, which produces high negative voltage. And therefore this 1D Graaff generator has main use to produce high voltage, and this high voltage produced is utilized to accelerate the charged particles which may be electrons, protons, deuterons, alpha particles, etc. with high energy of the order of 10 mega electron volt. And this is used, or the applications of 1D Graaff generator or use of 1D Graaff generator. So first application or use of 1D Graaff generator is to carry out disintegration of nuclei of different elements. So to carry out disintegration of nuclei of different elements, this 1D Graaff generator is used. So disintegration means it is nothing but spontaneous breaking of nucleus. So disintegration means spontaneous breaking of nucleus is done by this 1D Graaff generator. That means the high energy particles are bombarded on the target, that means radioactive elements. Second application is to produce radioactive radioactive isotopes. So to produce radioactive isotopes, that means to produce the elements which having same atomic number but different mass number. Isotope means the elements having same atomic number but different mass number. The third application of this 1D Graaff generator is to study nuclear reaction and nuclear structure. Of different elements. Another application of this is accelerating electrons to sterilize food and to process material. And again it has applications in medicine, such as these beams are used to treat the cancers. So these are some applications or uses of 1D Graaff generator. It is not actual the application of 1D Graaff generator, but the high voltage produced in 1D Graaff generator is being used to accelerate the charged particles to high energies of the order of 10 mega electron volt. Again, this 1D Graaff generator is used for some years, but another machine is developed later on after 1D Graaff designed this machine, and that machine is called as Cyclotron. So Cyclotron is the machine which is again used to accelerate the charged particles, and this machine you have to study in chapter magnetic effect of electricity.